Okay, so nobody's getting the truth from the mainstream media, folks. It's well past time to open your eyes, your ears, and your mind. Do your own research because something isn't right here. And if you can't see that, you are not paying attention, folks.
It's the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. Now that's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The important message that we need Australians to get vaccinated as quickly as possible. In line with that, I do encourage all Australians to please go and book your vaccinations as soon as you can if you haven't already done so.
Emma, get away!
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Okay, we need to stand up against this tyranny, folks. Stop giving away your freedoms and liberties, because the more you give up, the more these people will take until you have absolutely nothing left. That's their agenda. All right, good evening, family. We have rolled through to another Friday. I don't know how we've got here. I really don't. I think, I only see one steps of footprints in the sand with me, guys. So I know someone's been carrying me for a little while. All right, because, it's getting a little bit crazy. Look, the space last night was great. Thanks to everyone that dropped in, guys. It looks like there's a few numbers have been through that space and had a look. And, there was some good conversation in there. Thanks to everyone who's reached out, guys. And, said, and, whether that's, there shouldn't be any sides here, but it's, whether it's this side or that side, or just thanks, everyone. Do what you got to do, guys. All right. We've all got discernment. Okay. We all just have to work it out. And as I say, the game hasn't even started. It would be one way to put it, So anyway, things are what they are, guys. This is nothing to do with me. I just, God's doing all this, guys. It's nothing to do with any human being. We are in the time when we know that the veil will be lifted. So what else have we got? Bombshell evidence, the actual photographs of Israeli military explosive experts wiring the 91st floor on the World Trade Center. So there's a bit of a thing here, guys. I'll get it over to Telegram. And but the real reason for the night, as we know, was the Nasara, with George Bush and that. So, it's a good little article, guys, about what's going on. But we're seeing all these different documents get dropped now. Different things are coming out. The boxes up here seen in the photos that I put up, they're labeled with BB18, which corresponds to a type of fuse holder parts that could have been used for construction of planned demolition explosives. So, guys, it's very interesting what's getting dropped out now at this time. We got anonymous border patrol that, we do not control the border. I don't know why anyone's anonymous anymore when people are coming out like they are. But, they're saying that the cartels control it. And all they're trying to do is, play PSYOP for PSYOP, which I've sort of told you. I think something like that was going down. Now, child predators being released back on the streets in Los Angeles. This is what the Dems are doing, guys, right? The desk sergeant has said, don't bring them in. There's nothing the DA is going to do now. Just write it up, file it up, and that's all we can do for now. LA is not going to prosecute pedophiles. So we got to just keep bringing a light to it, because unfortunately, no fault of theirs, they've done everything they can for us, but it's the DAs in the California that are refusing to prosecute the pedophiles. Police are doing everything they can, but unfortunately, they can't swing their hands, guys. So yeah, there's this is just unrest. You know, they want unrest everywhere, guys. All by design. This is what they do, and this is how they do it. So yeah, the Rothschild dynasty. I got a bit of something on that, but anyway, let's get into it, because we got Cazz and we got Phil back on from the GGs. We haven't had Phil on for a while, so we thought we'd get him on and see what's going up. We know he's back down in Canberra, so yeah, we're interested to see what he's been doing and what's going on. So welcome again, Phil.
G'day, mate. How you going? I just listened to what you're saying just then. A big thumbs up from this end too, buddy. Yeah, look, we know the unrest is what they want to play. This is why they keep pumping everything on media over and over and over and over. People go, oh, this came out in media, that came out in media. I'm going, yeah, they still control the media. They want what they're putting out there. They've got out there because it creates discord and unrest. End of story. Back to you.
That's it, mate.
Yeah,
that's what they're after.
that's right.
They're after unrest on the street so they can bring out what they want to bring out. But unfortunately, they're not going to get it. They got to keep trying their things. They're setting up these stabbings now. Dale Holmes done a great breakdown I saw today. With the shoe placed out, and he reckons they've done a sponsorship with Nike on it.
Yeah, the Nike bag. It's the Nike bag.
Yeah.
The handbag, the shoe, the fire a couple of days beforehand so they could set it all up. The police officer dragging the guy into the blood spatter because he fell on the wrong spot. The Bondi rescue guy being a witness. It's like the guy running out with the baby that we just saved, absolutely no blood on him, even though he just rescued a baby from a woman who'd been stabbed to death.
Unreal, isn't it? It's an absolute
It is, mate. It is.
And the good thing is, all of us and our viewers are we're awake to it before it even happens, Phil. So
it's just like it's just like when the trains, got told that they were, they attacked the police and all that, and then we pulled their narrative apart so bad that they had to change it from sovereign citizens to extreme Christian group or something like that, just so they would stop pulling their shit apart so bad.
Yeah, we still got 14 emails to Mark Latham we got to find there, Phil. Still, Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, anyway. It just cracks me up,
Yeah.
Did you guys see the news?
It's good though, because what used to happen is it used to take weeks to break down the narrow dime, and now it's actually within 24 hours. Our people are onto it, and they're basically, it's like they can't get away with anything. They try, and they just can't actually do it.
And we have the videos out and everything within 24 hours showing people, and because it's still hot property and we use the same terminology, people click on those videos and straight away they're seeing the breakdown of it and they're going, oh shit, already they're onto us.
Yeah, that's it.
That's exactly right.
And that's why they want to introduce more censorship as well, because this is their problem. It's us. We are the problem because we don't believe anything they say.
We are the climate change.
We are the climate change for them. That's right. And it's just like, this whole, at the moment, they're going to prosecute Elon Musk because they want him to stop putting stuff globally about anything. And it's just, I'm going to use my powers. And like, I think someone, I can't remember, I think Kangaroo Court said that, should make a great Victorian Premier next.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Hey, Phil, what's going on in Canberra? How's things down there at the moment?
Yeah, the weather's turning. I came from sunny Queensland straight down to Canberra at the call of a brother who needed to run home to be with family. And I said, yeah, I'll hold your ground, because he was holding my ground for me. And I came down here straight into the freezing cold weather. It's supposed to be 4 degrees. It feels like about -4 to me. Even the guys that are on the ground here are saying it's pretty cold. There's still guys living in swags and stuff down here. I'm lucky enough I've borrowed this 80 series that I'm driving around in, and it was actually given to me, but it took some repair to get going again. But look, yeah, we've had a couple of days in court. Corey jumped in court the other day, just stood there in his truth. Nothing more than stood there in his truth, and the magistrate in the end had no choice because it was his word against the word of the officer, and because the law states that one word is not worth more than the other, and Corey standing in his truth, he would never, he basically is 100% honest. She had to rule that she couldn't find one way or the other, so it had to be thrown out. David McBride in on Monday. Interestingly enough, it was a 2-day trial, set down for 2 days, Monday, Tuesday. We were in there on Monday, heap of people at the gathering out the front. The videos are out there all over the place. And they went through the trial. The Crown prosecutor has withdrawn their professional, what do they call them? Witness. Because they're professional witness, they asked him, was this sensitive information, blah, blah, blah. And he went, no, it wasn't sensitive information. He didn't release any sensitive information. He just asked the questions about the trials. So they've withdrawn that evidence. I don't quite understand how you can put evidence forward and then withdraw evidence, but apparently you can. They've also withdrawn, right at the start of this trial, they said to him, we're not going to ask for a custodial sentence. We're going to, probably put you under house arrest and you'll probably get a slap on the wrist. But they've withdrawn that now. They want a minimum of 2 years for each charge, and they don't want them running consecutively, coherently. They want them running consecutively. So that'd be, can be upwards of 20 years. 2 years is minimum for each charge, which they say is not enough. Had a quick think about that. I believe they told him that they weren't going to go for that just so he'd behave himself while he was out in the public before the trials. So Monday they went through all this. Come Monday evening, 2-day trial, remember, they put it down for 2 days. They said, we're going to adjourn it till the following Tuesday. And I thought, why the hell are they adjourning it when it's back on for Tuesday anyway? It's back on for tomorrow. Why don't they just run it for tomorrow? And then Dave and I were just talking before the show, and Corey mentioned it as well this morning. The Parliament's sitting, and they're going to have the bill. What was the bill again, Dave?
That's the censorship bill, Phil.
The censorship bill, that's right. So obviously they don't want us all up at Parliament lawn, because we jump up there in those days and we give them shit with the PAs. And Dave knows our PAs. I've upgraded since the last time you were down here, Dave. She's next level now, mate.
Their PAs are louder than my voice, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually got it in a baby stroller now because it's too bloody heavy to carry. It's out of control. It's been hot rodded and everything. And so they're obviously having the David McBride trial on the same day because they know they're going to split us. They know some of us are going to go and support David McBride because he deserves to be supported, and some of us are going to be up on Parliament lawn, but they won't stop us altogether. Excuse me. Also. Goes to Corey just then. Also, geez, blew my own train of thought. How's that?
That's all right. What I'm going to say while you get it back, no, Phil, while you get it back, let me in for a minute, because what I'm going to say, what are you doing Tuesday, folks? We got a big day in the Truthers movement, and we need some guys by the look of it. We need to go to Parliament and have a go about this bill, and we need to back up the court system. So, guys, what's happening Tuesday? Is it anything in Jody's calendar about having a day off or something? And there's not, I'll ring up Jody and we'll put the day in for Tuesday, that everyone has a day off. We head to Canberra. This is serious, guys. They're putting this through the lower house. Okay?
That's right. And we've seen already what it can do.
Yeah.
Keep going,
well, we
Dave.
know
Sorry.
what they do, Phil. They slip them through the lower house and then they buy the votes up in the top and then they vote on them. Well, no one's there at 3 a.m. in the morning and just slip them in, mate. We know how they do it. They've been doing it for how long?
Yeah, I mean, we managed to. I think it was Rennick managed to spot a bit of a gap there because he tried to get a royal commission into the pandemic response 3 times, right? And each time they managed to vote it down by 1 or 2 votes. And if anybody knows anything about the Parliament, you can only get 3 chances of getting that sort of getting a a Royal Commission into that sort of thing. And then he was there one day/evening, and he realised that numbers were actually on his side at that time. So he managed to get not a Royal Commission, but my brain's not working tonight. An inquiry into it. That's right. That's right. And that was because he spotted that they didn't have the number stacked at that time because they thought he would give up. But just like every other person who's fighting for our freedom, he spotted a hole or a gap and he went for it. But, yeah, look, we really do need the numbers. They're calling for 500 people down here. The McBride crew are calling for 500 people down here. We help them every time. We supply PAs. We've got multiple PAs. I think I've got about 7 of them. That's another story. How I ended up with 7 of them.
Boys kept stealing them. The boys kept buying them.
That's right. The police kept stealing them. So one day I just turned up there and they said, "Oh, we're gonna take your PA again." I said, "No worries, mate. Have a look at the back of the truck." And there was 5 stacked in the back of the truck, ready to go. And then, yeah, the day before that, they put a noise abatement on me. I turned around to Dan, Trumpet Man Dan, I think it was. No, it might have been Dan, Army Dan. I said, "Dan, you got $2 on you?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Can I have it?" He goes, "Yeah." He handed it to me. I said, "You just bought yourself a PA." I said, "Off you go." And the copper goes, oh. And I said, "Mate, the noise abatement don't go with the PA. The noise abatement is against me, not the system." So Dan's back on it again. They turned around and walked off. But yeah, they want 500 people.
Yeah.
Beat them every time.
Okay, guys, let's go. We need some people on Tuesday. Okay, so this is your fight, guys. God's fight, but you're in it. All right, you've been told to get in it. So here we go. What can we do for Tuesday, guys? But I think you should have a day off and get down there. That's what I reckon.
And remember, if you can't make it, but you have the funds, fund somebody else who can make it.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, we got Bo in there looking for a couple of bucks to get down there. He said he'd go, but everyone's doing it tough. But anyway, guys, I'm just putting a call out Tuesday. Let's go. All right, you got 4 days to get organised. All right.
I know David McBride would appreciate it.
All right.
Mate, they're doing it for themselves. Yeah.
All right. Well, we might hit some news. Are you going to stick around for some news here, Phil?
Yeah, for sure. I'm loving it. Right. You guys are always great.
There's heaps. There is heaps. First of all, we've got Rosie bailing up the pharmacists again. We need a name for Rosie because she is so awesome. Look at this.
Tenacious.
You actually ask them to sign something in informed consent? Yeah. Mm-hmm. You do? Yes.
But you tell them there's a possibility they have a serious adverse event?
Yes, we do. Yes.
What sort of adverse event do you describe?
Well, we do talk to them about the adverse event, the most common one. But
which is what?
Aches and pain, temperature, sore arms.
Not a heart attack, not
well,
blood
clots. As well as too, so it can have this problem, and we are so ask them about you have any heart condition and you have to talk to your practitioner. So if they all happy about it, then it's fine.
But you should be doing a PEG test because that causes anaphylactic, and those vaccines have PEG.
So if they have done a few times already and no reaction at all,
but there can always be, as you know, as I know, people's hormones, certain things come into play.
Yep.
Anything can happen at any time. Yes.
Anything. But
that is the allergy. That's why you're supposed to do a PEG 20 test before you actually vaccinate them because, it's not vaccinate because it's an mRNA, it's a GMO.
So, the best thing is...
We'll leave it there because we've got a heap to get through. But, oh, my goodness, Rosie's just awesome the way she does that. Now, also, I think it's in Albury. Chick Fenton sent me this, and they've bailed up this lady who's their representative. They're basically out front there. And she actually sent out one of her representatives.
So if you recall very early.
Why didn't it?
Well, I didn't because it wasn't up to the Commonwealth, it was up to the state governments. That's what I'm saying. I mean, and none of this has been examined properly.
Well, that's the system.
In a domestic
that's all wrong in the system.
No, I agree.
This is, in some ways...
So you go, guys. That's awesome, and that was in coordination with the protest or go down to your whatever that thing that Jody organised, where you go down to your local members.
Get your local MPs. Yep.
That's it. So, and we also have Stephen Shavira, who is one of the Freedom Movement crew, and he was on Andrew Bolt.
About the
The Macquarie
really?
Bank announcing it's going to eventually, gradually go cashless. Should this bother us?
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, cash is freedom. The more our economy goes electronic, the more everything that we purchase can be tracked, the more our movements can be tracked. And this is not some conspiracy theory. The more our funds can be shut down on us for our views. Similar things have happened in England. And so the harder it is for us to be able to use cash in Australia, the closer we are to a kind of techno-surveillance totalitarianism. And so cash is king, cash is freedom. We need to keep cash going. If your bank cancels cash, go to another bank and start using cash.
Exactly
Can I
right.
just say something, sorry?
Yeah, come
Sorry.
in, Phil. Go for it.
Yeah. So another thing with using cash, guys, you go to, if you do go to Woolworths or Coles or somewhere like that, people say, oh, just use cash. There's one better than just use cash, right? Use your card, but withdraw cash, because if you withdraw cash, they have to hold what they think people will withdraw, not what when you use cash, they can just use it in their till, right? Up, down goes the flow. But if you actually withdraw cash and use them as a bank, they have to hold thousands and thousands of dollars just in case someone comes in to withdraw cash. So when you go to those sorts of places, withdraw cash. Don't use cash, withdraw it. Use your card.
All right. Hang on, Phil. Are you saying buy one item on your card, and when you're paying for that $5 item, withdraw 200 or 300 out of their till and then pay for the rest of your items?
100%, because they have to hold enough cash for the amount of people they think are going to come. So some days you might only get 2 people do that. The next day they might get 100 people do that. So they have to hold tens of thousands of dollars worth of cash. Whereas if you only pay with cash, they just have their floats in the till, and it goes up and down with the people that pay for cash. You use a 50, they give you a 20. The next person uses a 20, they give them a 10. Then the next person gets a 50.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, that's
Okay,
really good
one
to know,
item,
actually.
one item with your card, remove the cash, then pay for the rest of your groceries. And that's going to slow the chain down anyway. Yeah, that's beautiful. I like that.
Yeah. Look, it's actually withdrawing a lot of self-service places because of the thefts. Let's have a look at this.
Supermarkets are signalling plans to ditch self-serve checkouts. They're taking action as cases of retail theft surge.
All across America,
several Albuquerque Walmarts are ditching self-checkout.
A self-serve surrender.
Some major retailers are rethinking those self-checkout lines.
The big one, Walmart, ripping them out in some of its 10,000 stores. The same at Dollar General and at Canadian Tire.
All right, they just wiped my studio again. This is a regular occurrence.
Okay,
now.
listen, Anthony Price was saying they're limiting how much you can take out. We'll just stand there and put another $2 item through and pay for that again, and then get another 200 out, and then put another $2 item through and get another 200 out. We got to beat their system, guys, and stuff them up. You know,
they had a guy doing this recently. Sorry, Dave.
Go.
Yeah, they had a guy recently that was paying for every single item one at a time because they were, $2.97 rounded up or down. But when you added all the 97s together, they'd just round the last little bit up or down, right? So this guy was paying for each item individually, and he was totally saving about $11 over his grocery bill by paying for each item individually. And they tried to ban him, and it actually ended up on the current affair and everything. And they ended up going to court, and they said, no, you've got to take it. So like you just said, Dave, buy one item, draw out $200, pay for $200 worth, try another item, buy another $200.
Yeah. Play the game, guys. Come on, let's get smart. It's fifth generational war, and they've been pulling it on us for ages. Let's go. Let's get back at them.
Yeah, no, they have. All right, so we've got some interesting stuff here because this is actually Rita Panahi, and she's written a really good article, basically the COVID vaccine zealots. It's time for you to apologise. And it's one of those things that, it's one of the things that we didn't want to be right about this, but we just are. And now it's all coming out, especially when you've got headlines like this here, basically that Pfizer agrees to settle 10,000 lawsuits accusing pharma giant of hiding cancer risks of heartburn in the Zantac drug. And also, what is really interesting is this one here. Now, the premiers have been blasted for the COVID overreach without any medical advice. Yes, they were practicing medicine without a license. Also, who's weighed on and in on it, which is really interesting, is now he's only about 3 years too late, but former PM Tony Abbott, he's launched a blistering rebuke of COVID-19 pandemic leaders after bombshell pandemic report. Mind you, we probably could have done with this opinion earlier on.
I'll wait when she's finished.
No, you go, you go.
Yeah, right. So remember, guys, the Pfizer document, 3 pages. Remember the Pfizer document came out, was tabled. It was released because they wanted a 70-year ban on it, but they didn't get it. It was released in March 2020, before we started jabbing. So they had the medical advice. They chose not to take it. They knew of it. And again, just recently we've had that AstraZeneca has been removed from sale because of blood clotting issues. Remember March, funny how it's March, 2021, the whole of Europe banned AstraZeneca and put it on suspension until they did the investigations. Well, that is where the court cases come from, which has caused AstraZeneca to be removed, right? So that's been on ban since March 2021 in Europe, and over here we stopped buying it, but we didn't stop using it. What was on the shelves could continue to be used. The Australian government knew. So when they say that they didn't have medical advice, they did, and they knew.
And there is no, what's the word, Phil? Amnesty.
Amnesty, exactly.
Well, on that actually is this report as well, which is 80% of. Oh no, this.
Can't hear it, Cazz.
My sound. All right, he goes on to say that basically it's the numbers are larger than the First and the Second World War, and the miscarriages are at 81%.
And you've got Robert Kennedy Jr. just come out over in the States and saying he's going to approve abortion up to a day before the birth. Seriously, guys, this is the shit show we got going on in America. It is insane. It's doing my frigging head in over there at the moment, I'm telling you. Go, Phil.
Live abortions, guys. It's legal in Australia. If you went for an abortion, but it didn't work, and your baby is born alive, they don't tie the cord and they let it bleed out after it's born.
Oh, God.
Yep.
This is what happens in Australia today, now. Right now, it's happening I could probably guarantee it this very minute there is a child bleeding out who's been born alive, who the mother chose to have an abortion. It didn't work, which is her choice. I mean, I'm not getting into that argument, but it didn't work, and they're allowing it to be bled out because she chose an abortion, but it didn't work, and the baby was born not alive, and they chose to not tie the cord. The doctors are doing this, right? And I'm going to throw on top of that, I know of a neonatal nurse who last year told me that she would maybe get a stillborn once every month. She said she's been getting around 13 to 23 a week in Toowoomba. Stillborns. These numbers are getting hidden. They haven't updated the stillborn deaths. They haven't updated a whole lot of things lately. The amount of children that go missing every day hasn't been updated. The all the death rates haven't been updated.
This is your government, folks. This is the people who are tyrannically ruling you and giving you propaganda and lies. And I think they're actually trying to kill you. There's a question there, but I think they may be out to do people a little bit of harm. Phil, what do you reckon? Come on in, brother.
Well, a lot of people know me, know that my ex-partner during COVID, start of COVID, was an ICU nurse. She did 18 years of RAF medic, seen service, and 13 years an ICU nurse, right? Seen action. And she came to me one day when I used to drop her off at the hospital and she said, these COVID patients, she said, we're treating them all wrong. So this is a person with that much experience that the doctors used to ask her what to do, right? She said, "We're treating them all wrong. It's almost as if we're trying to kill them," she said to me. Just a statement she made, and my mind, that just blew my mind, and that just sent me down a spiral of what the hell was going on, because they did a pretty good psyop to start off with. They were running it pretty well, and there was sort of some sort of semblance of, well, what's going on here? But then once she made that statement, I think they're trying to kill them. That's what she said to me.
It's going on. What they're doing throughout society, though, is just so incredibly. If it's not Satan, I tell you, it's what else is it? Because we've got this report, and it's the atrazine in the school lunches.
Oh,
They packed her bag for school lunch every morning, and I gave her a big freezer Ziploc bag. I told her to go through the line, get her food, bring it back to the table, dump it all in the Ziploc bag, make sure it's sealed real good, and put it in your backpack. Eat your lunch I made you. And she did that. I had her do it for 5 days. I sent all that information out. I'm a retired paramedic from Miami, so I've got friends that I play golf and tennis with in Miami that own the spinners, where they spin blood and stuff. And I contacted my guy and sent it to him. And the result was atrazine. So on this clip you're looking at, the guy I stitched with is talking about that. If you think about it, that's really when all of this started. They were putting atrazine in the Michelle Obama, a.k.a. Michael LaVaughn Robinson's food program all over the country. That's what happened.
All right. So what is fascinating about that? Now, I've just had a brief look, and we've got this atrazine is a herbicide that has been found in the Australian tap water. You've also got this, which is the rise of the feminized men, and that's actually a study that's been done on that. And you've also, remember this, when Alex Jones came out,
putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Okay, so we've got that. Now, also, though, we've also got the situation where now he's done a TED talk on this, and it's the endocrine disruptor. And
Mom says she read to me as a baby. I don't remember it, but my mom says it's true. That all changed a few years ago when a chemical company, the largest chemical company in the world, asked me to use my expertise in studying frog hormones to try to understand if the chemical, their number one selling product, a weed killer, atrazine, if it interfered with their hormones somehow. Long story short, we examined the African clawed frog in my lab. We exposed them to this chemical atrazine, and we showed things like this. And these are tests. And you don't have to have a PhD or be a frog expert to see that there's a difference between the control and the exposed animal.
So that's Tyrone. Dr. Tyrone Hayes, and he has come out and he has basically revealed that it's the atrazine that's turning the frogs gay. Okay, so and we have all of these situations, and it all seems to be leading to this, and it's this thing, and now they're actually just basically coming out and saying it. So that word down there is actually pedosexual, and it's on LGBTP. So
they're driving it. Go, Phil.
If they want to put that letter at the end of that, I'm going to start gardening a lot, and I like to use live fertilizer. And it's just gardening. I'm only gardening, guys, and I just need more fertilizer. That's it. That's all it is gardening. I'm just a gardener.
Well, the thing is, though, Phil, they're putting it in everything, because you've also got, like, I did a study. I just did a bit of a quick search as well, and this is by Steve Kirsch, and he's done a study. He's looked into these studies, and it's between fully vaccinated and fully unvaccinated, and it's 2 times greater Okay, so the sexual orientation is 4.78, gender identity 4.81, gender dysphoria 5.54. So these are happening, and you've kind of got to wonder. Now, I just did a bit of a search. I'm thinking, well, are they putting atrazine in the vaccines? And if it's not the atrazine, they must be putting something very similar in it. So I did a bit of a search, but and there were a couple of hits, but I didn't have time to have a look into it too much. But anyway, go Phil.
I'm not working against the atrazine thing, but another thing too, just remember that the people that are vaccinated would have their parents would have a certain mindset and certain educational sort of thing. So those numbers could get skewed by that. But also just the sheer bombardment of, you don't have to be this, or you don't have to be born this or born that. They're just getting hammered with it. So, yeah. But, yeah, look, I did a bit of work for not work, but I just drove a truck for someone recently just to help them out, and they were carting grain. And when I was at the grain silos dropping off this beautiful grain that we just harvested, the amount of stuff they were spraying on it to stop weevils and mold and all this stuff as it was coming out of the back of the truck was just, oh my God. Like they're just coating this stuff in chemical after chemical, and the chemicals have got this sort of like white tinge to them when they mix it. And in my industry I've worked in over the years, I know that anything that goes milky white when you mix water with it is not good for you.
It ain't good for you.
No.
Yeah.
What's going on all the grains?
Guys, what happens to the greaser when you spray it on and you wash it off? Okay, same. It's all coming from petrochemical or whatever, but yeah, same effect, guys.
That's a good one. I'm going to research some of that some more, Cass, because that's very interesting. Frogs also can flip genders. Remember, some species of frogs can flip genders. So if it has an effect on them so vividly, then so it's going to have an effect on us for sure.
Well, that's it. And there was someone told me that they'd read a book where scientists had been testing animals all over the world, and even down as far as Antarctica. They'd found this in the endocrine disruptors actually in the waterways. So they'd actually found it in animals as far down as Antarctica. So there's a lot of cleaning up to do. We're gonna clean this place up though. Hey Phil, this is a really interesting situation. So what's actually happened here is basically extortion. So they got issued a fine for stopping at a pedestrian crossing while on their way to the station. You can also see here how they've manipulated the mirrors. So, that's another story there. But now, what car has two mirrors on the side?
Okay, yeah, but straight up, they said that they stopped within 20 meters, of a pedestrian crossing. It looks like the front of that vehicle is nearly level with a pedestrian crossing. Are you not meant to stop? You can't see either side of that picture. Is there a pedestrian waiting to walk across there? There would have to be more frames in that picture for them to charge you off that picture for a start, because it could be someone standing out of shot waiting to walk across a pedestrian crossing. So you've stopped because of that reason. Either side, that could be too. Very interesting fact that, like you say, that mirror on the left-hand side looks like it's actually two mirrors, which means the car was probably actually back a little bit further, which they should have probably left the picture at that point, because you probably could have been charged at that point. There is no indicators on the ground to say distance from the camera. You know how when you go through a red light camera or something like that, you see the white lines on the ground? That is to give you a speed and distance. So, again, they can't judge distance off that photo. They can't judge whether someone's off either side of that pedestrian crossing waiting to go across. And number three, the big boom, is constitutional problem. This is a council that sent this fine. So that means third tier of government. We went to referendum twice on third tier of government, and we've said no. So third tier of government cannot make laws and cannot charge you with fines. So you can make this a constitutional issue, which would take it straight out of the magistrate's court, because the magistrate can't hear a constitutional issue, and straight to the High Court. And then when you're in the High Court, you could also mention the fact that those other things. More than likely, what they normally do as soon as it gets to High Court is they'll drop the case, because if they lose in the magistrate's court, it doesn't really matter because they can't set a precedence, and you can't set a precedence in a magistrate's court. Why is that? Goes right back that a magistrate's court is actually not supposed to have a guilty, not guilty verdict. There was magistrates' courts originally put there to actually say, yes, this will go to court. No, it won't, because the courts were getting filled up. That's why if it's over, I think, $2,500 fine or 2 years imprisonment, they can't. Also, another reason why they can't hear the case. What they'll normally do in those cases that they'll ask you, the prosecution want to drop the maximum charge from 2.5 years or $2,500 down to $1,000, and you think, oh yeah, I know, I don't want to go to jail. So you say yes, well straight away they can hear it in the magistrate's court. Then you see, if you say no, it's got to go up to the High Court. If you make it constitutional, it has to go up the High Court. Costs them a lot of money, so they just drop it straight away normally. But then if you did get there with that photo, I'd rip that photo to pieces, as you just heard, and they'd be stuffed.
That would be. All right, we're having some wins around the place, and one of the wins, of course, is this, and it's Peter Sweden. He's actually reporting that Britain is refusing to sign the WHO Pandemic Treaty, saying that the treaty in its current forms undermines national sovereignty. This is awesome, okay? So, yeah, very, very good news.
The UN's in trouble. The UN's in trouble, guys. It is in trouble. Yeah.
Australia's in trouble. Did you hear about Australia? Australia currently doesn't have an EU trade agreement. The EU refused to sign a trade agreement with the Australian government, saying that you may not be the custodians of the land. Anyway, we'll get into that another day.
Yeah, no, cool. That's choice. Well done. Yeah, we got a lot going on in the background, guys. This thing's going off left, right, and centre, and they have got no jurisdiction, and they know it. So yeah, it's getting hot out there, guys, behind the scenes.
That's what I'm finding the interesting thing is that it's everyone who challenges them on whether it's under the international constitution, guys, or the basically the original title. Everyone who challenges them on a constitutional level seems to be winning. So that everyone has jurisdiction except for them. So it's crazy. All right,
Phil, exactly.
I'll let you have some final words, and Dave will wrap up, and then
no. Phil's going to do the final. No, Phil's going to do the final wrap up. So I'll let something to let Phil.
Well, look, guys. Look, what I'm seeing is, I was talking to Dave earlier as well, is that everybody that's still in the game, and there's a lot of us that are still fighting hard, like Cazz, Guru, anybody you want to put it, they're still fighting hard. They've really kicked it into gear. I'm just noticing it's coming from everywhere at them, and it is hitting them hard. Just like Cazz said, it just seems like anybody that's fighting them constitutionally is winning. I've recently seen documents where the High Court has admitted that the Constitution still stands and the Constitution is still valid in its original form. Anything other than that is not. The people, we're standing, we're getting stronger, we're hitting them so much harder now. Just like Cazz said before, it takes 24 hours and there's a video out from us pulling their videos to pieces. They've actually stopped trying to, you don't hear the word sovereign citizen or stuff like that anymore, because they know that as soon as they bring those out, bam, someone's on it, someone rips them a new one. You just heard what I said about that single photo. Just think, guys, just think, and just give them shit. You take a $100 fine to court. I recently took one to court. My driver, my F-Trucks, left-hand drive, got a fine from them saying, on a mobile device. It's a photo of the right-hand seat of my truck with nobody in it. Sent them a letter telling them this. They said, no, it still stands. Sent them another letter. No, it still stands. It went to Spur. I rang Spur up and said, look, I don't have any agreement with you. I've never signed a contract with you. Unless you want to end up in court, I suggest you give it back. Got a letter straight back from Queensland Transport again. Complained one more time. They dropped it. I've since heard from the inside, some people I know on the inside, they will do deny 3 times, and then the 4th time they'll drop it. So just keep fighting back. And if they don't drop it, go to court. If you do lose, you've already cost them thousands of dollars for a $100. Even if you end up paying triple that, you've still cost them more than what it's worth. Keep fighting hard, guys. We're picking the game up so much harder than they can. They just don't know where to look. We're attacking from every angle, just like Cazz said. Doesn't matter where you're coming from. Don't fight with your people that are fighting. Fight with them. don't have to be your friend, but they're not your foe.
That's it. All right.
Okay,
Thank you,
well,
Phil.
I'll just close it up, Cazz, with that comment down there. Okay, Bob down history had enough of the bullshit, especially at this stage. Very disappointing. Guys, I'm very sorry if I asked 3 questions. I must not be allowed to ask questions of anyone. I mean, if Phil or I get asked questions, what do? We answer the friggin' things, whether it be public, private, or whatever. You know why? Because me and Phil have got nothing to friggin' hide. That's why we answer questions. So you want to put bullshit like that on the screen, go and ask the right questions or the relative questions to the relative people, because I can't get a damn answer. Have a great weekend. See you in Canberra on Tuesday. Get going, guys. Come on, let's go and get this. Good on you, Phil.
All right.
Love you guys. Thank you.
We've got Jesus taking it. Jesus was on the basketball team and he cheated.
What happened? We lost again. I'm sorry. Did you hear about our basketball game? No, what happened? We lost again. I'm sorry. We lost to a Christian homeschool. Okay, well, all because they cheated. They cheated? Yes, they cheated. How did they cheat? They had Jesus on their team. Okay, so I can guard Joey all day, but you know who I can't guard? Okay, I think the Lord. Okay, at this point, every time a player got hurt, he was fine the next play. Well, that's a good thing. I think Jesus was healing them. Do you understand how he was hiding under the bleachers, just laying his hands on them so they would be fine? You really need to. Their cheerleaders over there like, we got school spirit. I'm like, yeah, you also have the Holy Spirit. They had cheer. Over there praying, the Lord is my shepherd. Yeah, he's also your shooting guard. So I don't know what they were praying for. Listen to me. I'm assuming points because they scored 84 of them. You're making excuses. And then Joey was all like, we beat you. I'm like, you ain't beat us. Well, you know, kids. He beat us. Actually, they did. Jesus may love all the little children of the world, but he also loves the hoop. You guys lost and he's good. You're ridiculous. Real good. Listen to God might have created the heavens and the earth on day 1, but on day 2, he shot some foul shots. I promise you that. You can't be a sore. Chad said he heard the coach say after the game, I want to thank God. So that right there tells you that they were planning something sneaky with him.